Who are you? Tell me about yourself. These are questions frequently asked to us throughout our lives, whether young or old. You will always have someone asking these two questions. But do we know who we truly are? Who we are outside of the title that we have been given? Who are you? I am the second Ronin, an anime/manga YouTuber who wants to share the experiences and my deep appreciation for anime and manga. Take that title away and who am I? Even to this day I still struggle with finding how to answer this question. What do you want to be when you get older? What are your career goals? Many of us as young adults and teenagers still have no idea what we want to do with our lives. Most of us want to live up to the expectation of our parents and the life they have outlined for us in their head. So we try our best to live up to that expectation, but never seem to think twice about it until you're working a job you don't even like, or you may just be following your friends and just want to fit in by doing what they are doing. Smoking, going to parties, staying out late, not working, or just forcing yourself to do things that they enjoy instead of your personal enjoyment. Which leads back to my question. Who are you? As an individual, who are you when you remove all the titles that you have been given? Who are you as a person down to your core? Maybe you don't want to be a lawyer, a doctor, or an engineer as your parents want. Maybe you want to be a musician, a content creator, or a rapper. What if you followed your dreams and goals, not that of others, or what others want you to do? Don't you think you'd be able to know who you are as a person and know yourself beyond titles? What if you gave yourself a chance to dive headfirst into individuality and find your own passion? The manga Blue Period explores this act of following your dreams and goals in many different aspects. And in today's video, I'd like to show two aspects of this deep dive into individuality. The first being who am I, and the second one being who are you. Blue Period is a story about Yatora Yaguchi, the protagonist of the anime/manga written by Tsubasa Yamaguchi, which follows said protagonist, Yaguchi, who is in his second year of high school, comes face to face with the realization of his emptiness and frustrations. With this said emptiness, Yaguchi is a quote-unquote delinquent who smokes, has bleached out hair, and as piercings, is also a straight-A student, which may seem strange, because aren't delinquents supposed to not care about school? That is true, but Yaguchi is a delinquent due to him trying to fit in with the friends he made. He only smokes when he's around his friends, and only drinks when he's around his friends also, because he wants to fit in and doesn't know who he is. But one day Yaguchi starts to question if he is really happy with the life he's living at the moment, and if this is really what he wants for himself. One day while in art class, a class him and his friends don't take seriously and use it as free time, they try to smoke, but the art teacher catches them and takes away the pack of cigarettes from them. But later on, after school is completely over, he goes back into the art room, which keeps an art club in that class. After school, when he enters the class, he finds himself fascinated by this painting that was done by his senior, Maru Mori. This painting stopped him dead in his tracks. The painting ignites a passion within him, but he is quickly interrupted by Yuka, who gives him the pack of cigarettes and also confronts him about him wanting to fit in with his friend group. He then leaves. He finds himself constantly thinking about the drawing and reminiscing about a blue Shibuya he saw one early morning while out with his friends, and decides to draw and paint that scene from his memory while fighting an internal battle of doubt on whether or not he wants to pursue art as a career or not. He is then given constructive criticism by his art teacher, Shoko Sensei. He then leaves discouraged by the criticism as he takes it as he is not talented enough to pursue art. He goes home to his family and is faced with a statement from his mother that her and his father won't be able to afford to send him to a private university. He spends the next few days in sadness and self-doubt, questioning himself if this is what he really wants to do with his life, art. He then goes to the art teacher showing a recent sketch that he did, and then poses this question to reassure himself and get rid of the self-doubt. He is now filled with passion and assurance that this is what he wants to do. There's 3 entire chapters that speak volume to anyone who is facing an internal battle with themselves or with their identity. And these chapters are chapter 18 to 20, which comes on to my next topic. Who are you? Yuka is a non-binary person in Blue Period manga. Yuka's parents doesn't approve of their lifestyle, seeing that they can only be seen wearing a mix of male and female clothing. They can be seen sometimes wearing a skirt with a boy's uniform blazer, other times wearing boys' uniform slacks and a girl uniform blouse. They do this deliberately to highlight their opposition to conformity. Yuka is seemingly confident despite their underlying anxieties. Yuka is closest to their grandmother, who is the reason why they do art in the first place and decided to pursue Japanese art in the first place. Yuka's mother and father both disapprove of their identity and lifestyle. It is shown that they don't have a very happy home life and can only find solace in the company of their grandmother, who accepted them for who they are and their aspirations. It is implied that they often go out at night to get away from home and that their parents suspect them of trading dates with men for money. Yuka is now faced with a wall which seems unclimbable for them and decides to give up on art school. They failed the art exam for Japanese art, and apparently the Japanese art exam is extremely difficult. They are on the verge of giving up on art school. They want to leave this world. Yaguchi keeps reminiscing on a recent argument he had with him. Apparently, they aren't on good terms. Yaguchi is given a project from his cram school art teacher to journal in a sketchbook about his everyday life and make more personal sketches about who he is as a person, his personality and quirks. While doing this, he bumps into one of Yuka's childhood friends, and while in conversation and exchange of Yuka's drawings, Yuka's friend says that they don't really like Japanese art that much and mostly draw Western clothing during breaks. Yuka and Yaguchi decide to take a trip out of town to a beach and decides to rent a motel together. They then proceed to get into deeper talk about Yuka's life and what has been going on with them and their parents. The next morning, Yuka suggests Yaguchi should try drawing himself naked because he'll learn a lot more from that instead of drawing the ocean. He suggests that Yuka does it as well and stand between binds and in front of mirrors to look at their naked bodies. They start to talk about Yuka's sketches of Western fashion, and they state that they are doing Japanese art because of her grandmother. Her grandmother was the one who taught them how to draw and who accepted them no matter what. They genuinely thought they wanted to go into the Japanese art department, but once the exam started, it got harder and harder for them to draw Japanese art. Their parents didn't oppose against them doing art as long as it was Japanese art. When they were in high school, they asked for advice from the art teacher in their high school, but ended up lashing out at her because they still had no idea what they wanted to do. They couldn't bring themselves to betray their grandmother's wishes. They believe they don't have the same core drive as Yaguchi, who relies on hard work and studying. But Yaguchi keeps mentioning that he has no natural talent or skills in art compared to his peers, and he can only practice and improve upon the basics that he has learned from cram school and art school. He doesn't know what to do unless he has a clear goal. The conversation continues and Yuka mentions that all they ever think about is what other people think of them. They continue the conversation while Yuka talks about their identity and love. They constantly go in between, back and forth with their identity and who they really are. Yuka is questioning their sexuality because they have feelings for men and women as well, and they try to change themselves when in contact with either genders, to try to find themselves in a category, to make people better understand them. They both leave the beach and motel revitalized, and both Yaguchi and Yuka have discovered a bit more about themselves from the experience. We all tend to live a life trying to please people and trying to live up to their expectations of us and trying to be right in the eyes of society. But why are we doing this? Why live for others and not ourselves? Who are you? Who am I? Blue Period frequently explores who its characters are, down to their core, and how they change with every new obstacle they face. But as shown in Blue Period, who we are really down to our core isn't as linear as people will think it is. To find the answer to this question, the question will be answered as you progress through life, doing the things you want to do, just like Yaguchi. What if he was too scared to take a dive into finding himself and exploring art, something that he's really interested in? What if he didn't at least try to pursue his passions and goals? He would probably look back on that moment in the classroom thinking he should have pursued that small fire that lighted inside of him when he saw that blue hue at Shibuya and decided to pursue it. So what if he failed and regret doing art? It's always better to regret doing something than regret not doing it. Go for your own passions and stop trying to live the life your parents or grandparents hold for you like Yuka. Pursue your passions like Yaguchi and take that leap of faith. It will be long and hard and you will feel like giving up on so many occasions. But that voice in your head that just tells you to keep going because you're so close to your goal, you should always listen to it. So buy that microphone to start your music or your podcast. Go learn art like Yaguchi. Go learn how to make YouTube videos. Go make your clothing brand. Go follow your dreams. Go do that thing that makes your heart beat and makes you feel alive. Because this is the process of finding yourself and it will take time. And you only have one life to live. Even I am still in the process of trying to find out who I am. So I'll ask this question again. Who are you? Who am I?